afternoon. This is the webinar series by Himalayan College. So today we have Dr. MS from Institute of Ayurveda. He served at KBJ Ayurveda and presently he is working in Ayurveda College. Associate Professor in the Department of Shalyatantra. I welcome Dr. Sudeep. Today he is going to present a seminar on principles of Ayurveda. So Shushu Samhita says, Agama Siddhatvat Phaladarshanat Mantravat Samprayoktavyo Na Mimamsya Khatam Chana. Whatever the 60 upakramas explained in Vidopakramaniya are proven. It is practically, it is established. Then what is there to discuss? The next shloka he says, ये बहुत even though upakrama, but he has given freedom to use many medicines based on the condition. So here we are discussing the different upakramas utilizing different medicines and how we got result. So today Dr. Sudeep will explain his clinical experience in the field of wound healing. Over to you, Sudeep.
Thank you, Dr. Gurraj sir. In this occasion, I sincerely thank the management for providing a platform for my pressure ulcer. Here I would be discussing about a patient who is bedridden, suffering from quadriplegia, who has presented with a pressure ulcer. So what was the management adopted, how it progressed, that will be discussed in this webinar. Again, before going to the case presentation proper, I would be discussing about the background regarding the pressure ulcer, so as to brush up your knowledge regarding the pressure ulcer. Again, what is pressure ulcer? Pressure ulcer is an area of unrelieved pressure over a defined area, especially over a bony prominence. Because of uninterrupted pressure, it will result in the ischemia. Microscopically, it results in cell death, and in the gross form, it presents a tissue necrosis. Coming to what is the most common cause? The cause is impaired mobility, which makes the patient bedridden. The causes may be neurological conditions, the old age, post-operative conditions, and many more. In common, the patient is made to bedridden. Coming to the pressure ulcer, prevalence of pressure ulcers in India. The prevalence is about 5% in hospitalized patients. And when you go through the neurological statistics, the pressure ulcer incidence is as high as 40%. So it's a matter of concern. And because Ayurveda physicians, Ayurvedic people, they treat more of the neurological conditions, there is a more exposure to this pressure ulcer also. Coming to another form of neurological deficit, the spinal cord injury. Here, the incidence of pressure ulcer range from 25 to 66%. like as high as 66%. And when you compare to the treatment, after the treatment, the recurrence rate is about very high of 80%. So as the cause is not in majority of the conditions, the cause is irreversible. So the pressure ulcers are also irreversible because there will be relapse and remission of pressure ulcers. Again, if you analyze the cause of deaths, the pressure ulcer being the cause of death, it accounts for about 8% of the patients with paraplegia. And the next is which are the common sites of occurrence of pressure ulcer. The patient will adopt a supine position most of the times. A patient in the bed adopts supine position. In that position, the sacral area will be in contact with the bed, as well as in the lower limb heels, as well as the head, the occipital region will be in contact with the bed. So because of the shear forces, there will be occurrence of ulcers in this sacral, heels, as well as occipital region. Next, coming to again, when the patient is made to sit for consumption of the food and water, there will be prolonged uninterrupted pressure on the ischial region. So, and another position which is adopted is right or left lateral. In this position, there will be maximum pressure or the greater trochanter of the femur. So this results in the ulcer in that region of right or left thighs. And according to the American National Advisory of Pressure Ulcer, it has divided the pressure ulcer into 4 stages. Stage 1, where there is non-blanchable erythema, simply it presents with a reddish black patch. Whenever you observe the patient, you will see it as a reddish black patch. In the second stage, there will be partial thickness skin loss, which may extend into the skin. In stage 3 and 4, it penetrates the skin completely. There will be full thickness skin loss. In the stage 3, it extends into the subcutaneous tissue. In case of stage 4, it may penetrate into the muscle, bone, tendons, or joints also. So coming to the approach, in stage 1 and stage 2, it is mainly conservative. In case of stage 3 and 4, there may be need for the surgical intervention like flap or etc. Again, coming to the general treatment principles, again, the popular nurse, the Florence Nightingale, in 1855 has written that if he has a bed sore, it is generally not the fault of the disease, but of the nursing. So she has highlighted regarding the importance of nursing care to the patient with especially who is bedridden or hospitalized. So the main treatment is you have to go for reduction of the pressure by means of pneumatic bed or water bed or application of soft pad at the site of pressure ulcers. And next is, as usual, you have to control the infection. If there is skin and muscle or the deeper tissues involvement is there, you have to go for debridement of the necrotic tissue. And later, as usual, we have to go for local wound care. So this is the treatment principles of the pressure ulcers or bed sore. Coming to the case presentation proper, a bedridden patient who is aged 29 years, male, presented with 6 non-healing ulcers since 2 years. Basically, he was a driver of a tempo who had succumbed to the accident, road track accident 4 years back. And he was the sole earning member of his family. And his dependents were his father and mother. So the patient, again, the family was totally stressed because of the earning member had suffered from a major RTA. And because of RTA, there was cervical injury. And post cervical injury, he has admitted in different hospitals. And since 2 years, there was the onset of pressure ulcers. Okay. Coming to the examination of the patient, patient was neurologically conscious, and muscle power of proximal limb is about grade 3. And in the distal limbs, it is about grade 0. That means there is no movement at all. Only he could move the shoulders as well as upper arm, as well as there was a rigidity. The spasticity is noted in the elbows as well as the lower limbs. Only about 5 to 15 degrees of movement was possible in the elbows and the knee joint, as well as the hip joint. And as usual, because of the spinal cord injury, the patient has presented with the bowel and bladder incontinence. Again, these are the MRI reports which suggest that, again, this was done during the RTA, when he has suffered from RTA. It shows compression fracture in the C5 and C6, and there is a retropulsion of C5 vertebra which has indenting the chica and cord. So there was a clear case of spinal cord injury at the level of C5 and C6. Because of this, again, patient had suffered from the pressure ulcers since last 2 years. He had suffered from injury 4 years back. Since 2 years, he is suffering from the ulcers. And this is the status of ulcers when I saw the patient. Again, in the right and left trochanteric, it's about oval or round ulcers, which measures 10 into 7.5 into 1 centimeters, as well as left trochanteric 12 into 7.5 into 2.5 centimeters. As you can notice, the surrounding area, you can see the old scar. Again, the patient was repeatedly suffering from the pressure ulcers. The wound, again, there is punctured out edges. You can see unhealthy granulation tissue, as well as the extension, especially in the left trochanteric ulcer. There is extension laterally also, which cannot be perceived in the photo. But as well as there is some amount of slough as well as unhealthy granulation tissue, which can be noted. Again, these are the pictures of right ischial and left ischial ulcers. Again, it's because of the position, the ulcer is almost oval, and you can see the unhealthy granulation tissue, punctured out edges, thick and fibrosed, hard edges, and some amount of serous discharge, and especially in the left there was pus discharge. Again, these are the pictures of left heel. Again, there were small ulcers, but because of the thickness of the sole, the non-healing was persistent. And in this case, surprisingly, again, in most of the pressure ulcers, patients with the pressure ulcers, sacral region is usually involved, but in this patient, sacral region is not involved. Again, it's a surprise. Again, this is the clinical findings. Again, the number are 6. The shape is generally round or oval. The color is about pale red. Edge is thick, white, punched out and fibrosed. Again, there was a foul smell, and the floor of the ulcer showed unhealthy granulation tissue, which is pale and scanty. And the discharge in different ulcers, there was different discharge. Again, it ranged from serous to yellowish white pus. On this basis, you can go for the diagnosis of pressure ulcer based on the clear-cut history as he is bedridden and the stage of 3 and 4 as it is penetrated into the muscle beyond the skin. Okay, whenever come to the Arabic diagnosis is nothing but the clear case of Dushtavrana because it has many features like Achivrata, Achikatina, Avasanna, again it is deep, as well as it has whitish color appearance. Shukladinam, one Varnanam, Anyatama Varno, as well as again ugly appearance, Bhairavaha, and the depth of the lesion is about in the Mamsa Prabhratibihi, Purnaha. The next is it has Uchi Puyasravi, as well as it is Unmargi, where there is extension in the pressure ulcers. And it has presented with the foul smell, Gandho Atyartham, as well as it is about 2-year chronic. So it is a Dirga Kalanuvanji Vrana. And based on doshas, there is mainly Vata and Kapha dominance in this Dushtavrana. And when you speak of the Chikitsa Sutra in case of Dushtavrana, Dushtavraneshu Kartavyam, Urdhvam Adascha Shodhanam, Vishoshanam Tata Aharaha, Shonitasya cha Mokshanam. Again, these principles are difficult to perform, especially in a quadriplegic patients like Urdhva Adashodhana, or like the nutrition of the patient is quite poor because he was weighing about roughly about 30 to 35 kgs. He has lost more than 25 kgs in a span of 4 years. As well as the only option available was the main again, the wound care with the help of Kashayam Rajavrikshadav Surasadav Chadavanam Tayoreva Kashayana Tailam Shodhanamishade. So first line of treatment in case of any type of Dushtavrana is the Shodhana. And again, one of the easy means is the Kashaya Davana, as well as the most common preparations you may use the Taila for Shodhana. Again, coming to the prognosis, before going to the treatment, the cause of the injury or the pressure sore is the spinal injury, which is actually irreversible. Once the spinal cord is been damaged, it is permanent damage. So it is a asadhya condition. Likewise, the chronicity is beyond 2 years. So a parisamvatsarotita vyadhi is always kritra sadhya. Likewise, the patient, nutrition of the patient, general condition of the patient is quite low, and he has presented with the deformities because of the quadriplegia. Spasticity was evident in the patient. Likewise, the patient had financial distress. He has suffered from RTA. Again, basically the patient belongs to a poor family and he was the only earning member, and he had some compensation money, about 5 lakhs. And with that interest only, he was living his daily life, along with his old parents who were aged about 65, as well as mother is about 60 years old. And she was taking care of the patient. So considering all these factors, again, the prognosis becomes poor. Coming to the what adopted was Triphala Kashaya, Parisheka, as well as Jatayitela application. Because in case of Durgandanam, Kledavatam, Pichilanam Visheshataha, Kashayahi Shodhanam Karyam. So this has been advocated. So here, in the form of Kashaya Shodhana, Triphala Kashaya, which was the most common prescription of my teacher, Dr. Modidhar Sharma. With respect, I take the privilege and I have taken this knowledge and I have seen the practice in case of the wound as well as the pressure ulcers. So same treatment I adopted in this patient also, along with the Jatayitela application. The main in treatment, again, the line of management is Shodhana. Once the Vrana is Shuddha, you have to go for Ropana of Vrana. So here Kashaya and Taila, Shodhana for Shodhana, Kashaya and Taila. Likewise for Ropana also, Kashaya as well as Taila was used. Again, nothing but the Triphala Kashaya Parisheka along with the Jatayitela application. again, the patient had suffered and he was not ready for any of the internal medications. So again, because of the final distress, again, there are many factors which prevented him and he was not ready for the internal medication. So no Ayurvedic internal medications, or he didn't have any other allopathic medications also. He has stopped the medications, and nowadays only the problem which he faced was the pressure ulcers. So he wanted to get rid of that. So he asked regarding the treatment of pressure ulcers only. Coming to the treatment, again, as you all know, the Triphala Kvata contains Haritaki, Vitaki, Amalaki, and this was made into coarse powder, again made into Kashaya, and with the help of cotton, again Parisheka was done daily. After the Parisheka, the Jata Tela application on the pressure ulcer was done. Initially, the treatment was begun with the hydrogen peroxide as well as the betadine, because the ischial region is exposed to contamination because of the urine and feces, as well as the wound showed the discharge, profuse discharge, especially trochanteric as well as the ischial. Only the serous discharge was present in the heel ulcers. So initially I started with the betadine as well as hydrogen peroxide, but about 15 days to 20 days treatment also, there was no reduction in the foul smell or the granulation tissue or the discharge. So this made me to shift to Triphala Kvata as well as Jachezicela. And after the usage of the Triphala Kashaya Parisheka as well as Jachezicela, you can notice the changes. So again, here the pictures will speak more than my words. Again, you can see observe the pictures and make out the actual change, what happened in the patient. So this was the before treatment. Again, here you can see the fibrous edges punched out, hard, depressed, and you can see the unhealthy granulation tissue, as well as the debris can be noted in one part of the ulcer. And after about 8 days only, there was dramatic change. There was a sharp reduction in the foul smell, discharge, as well as you can see how the wound bed was prepared within a span of about 8 to 10 days. You can see the gross changes which can be made out. This was the previous, before treatment and after treatment. There was a preparation of the bed and some part of the granulation tissue. Lekana was done with the help of Triphala Kashaya. And after that, slowly the changes started in the form of filling of the granulation tissue, and simultaneously there was slow wound contraction which has started. By about 60 days, complete filling of the granulation tissue occurred with the growth of the, again, granulation and filling of the edges also. Again, about a period of 60 days, about 2 months, there was size of the wound reduced to less than 40%. And later on, again, as the treatment proceeded, the size was reduced and you can clearly make out the difference of the ulcer. So here, again, it has reduced to about 10% with the scar, and about after 140 days, that is about 3.5 months, you can see the complete scar formation with the help of Triphala Kashaya as well as Jata HL application. And I didn't stop here. After this, again, because of the dosha prakopa, abhigatats, ajirnats, etc., there may be rudavrano abhidhiryati. It has been told in the Shushu Samhita. As well as, if you consider the modern aspect, the wound remodeling takes place for about 2 years after the healing of the ulcer. So with this regard, I again applied again once in weekly, twice or thrice, application of Jata Tela was performed to the scar, so that there is no changes in the structural aspect of the scar, so that it will regenerate the scar. So after about 240 days after healing, that is 8 months after ulcer healing, you can see the difference. Again, initially there was reddish white scar, later it turned to hard as well as pale white scar. So again, this is after about 8 months after healing. So one of the common complication with the Reger ulcer is it will result in the recurrence. So here after 8 months also there was no recurrence of the pressure ulcers. So likewise, this is regarding the left trochanteric ulcer. You can see the depth, there is extension laterally also. You can see the punched out edges, unhealthy granulation, again some amount of unhealthy granulation tissue, some pus discharge can be noted in one part of the ulcers, and again it's a big ulcer penetrating deep. Later on, as the treatment proceeded, you can see the slow filling of the ulcers, wound bed, the reduction of the size of the ulcer with the simultaneous contraction of the wound. Again, after about 70 to 80 days, the size reduced to about 20%. Likewise, after about again many 100 odd days, you can see almost 90%, 99% healing of the wound. Again, after about roughly about 130 to 140 days, there was complete healing of the wound. You can see they appreciate the reddish white scar. And the next is about 240 days. That is exactly about 8 months after the wound healing. You can see the pale scar. The same thing again. Here it is. The scar is immature. Again, this is after about 8 months. Again, scar is contraction also has been seen, as well as it is strong, comparatively strong after about 8 months after healing. The next is regarding the right ischial ulcers. This was before treatment and it took maximum time, that is about 6 months. About again 180 days means 6 months, but about 5 months 26 days. Ulcer turned to again it completely healed, because the maximum pressure exerted was because the pointed structure of the ischium, as well as on sitting there is uninterrupted pressure, though. So it took little more time for healing. Likewise, in case of left ischial ulcer, initially it was the ulcer. Later, after 190 days, again almost 99% of healing was observed. Only little healing was left over. Again, this happened period of about six months plus 10 days. So there was in this way. Again, next is the heel ulcers. This was before treatment, and after about 2 months, there was complete healing of the heel ulcers in case of right leg. Next, in case of left side, again, this is before treatment, and after about 72 days, that is about 2.5 months, you can see the complete healing of the wound. And again, to summarize, all the ulcers, pressure ulcers, healed with a strong, healthy scar. And only right heel showed recurrence of the ulcer after 3 months. And there was no recurrence in 5 pressure sores, in trochanteric as well as ischial also. There was no recurrence for until 8 months of follow-up. So this is one of the important aspects regarding the recurrence. So it could prevent the recurrence for about a period of 8 months. So based on the action, Again, removal of the slough was done by the Lekana Karma of the Triphala Kashaya as well as the Jataya Chela, because both are Shodhana as well as Ropana. Because of the Kledara property, there was a sharp reduction in the discharge and foul smell, and slough was cleared within a span of 8 days without debridement of the ulcers. Later, there was the granulation tissue growth, which ultimately resulted in the healthy as well as strong scar, which resulted in the Ropana of the Dushtavrana. Likewise, the Triphala Kashaya as well as the Jataya Chela, both are cost-effective measures, which was easily available, as well as that is throughout the year, because the amount of days which has to be used may be usually long term. So in rainy season or any other season, it should be easily available, readily available to the patient. So that as well as it is cost effective. The both Jataya Chela is available throughout India as well as the Triphala Kashaya. As well as to implement also it has to be easy, both for physician as well as the patient. So it is a best drugs which are available to the physician. Likewise, this is regarding the pressure ulcers. Again, to summarize, this pressure ulcer actually is a challenging as well as complex situation, because it has multifactorial multi-factors which will affect the patient. Likewise, the nursing, one of the important aspect in preventing the pressure ulcer as well as improvement of the pressure ulcer is the continuous care to the patient with respect to pressure relief, personal hygiene, bladder and bowel care, as well as the nutritional support. Likewise, with this evidence of successfully treating the ulcer, pressure ulcers with the help of Jataya Chela as well as the Triphala Kashaya, again, it is a silver lining in the part of the patients who is suffering from quadriplegia or paraplegia with the pressure ulcers. In this regard, I thank our principal as well as our college for providing me an opportunity. And if any questions, please do ask. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Again, the Vrana is the Dhanvantiranam Adhikaraha. So you have to depend on the reference of Sushruta mainly, because the Vrana is the Adhikar of Sushruta. So with respect to the reference, you have to depend on the reference of Shashtipakrama for the treatment, as well as Vrana Srava, Vrana Prashna Adhyaya in case of Sushruta Samhita alone. So available is the Sushruta Samhita only. So that is considered as the authentic knowledge regarding Shalyantra as well as the Vrana also. Again, this was the reply for the reference of Vrana except Sushruta.
Thank you, Dr. Sudeep, for your wonderful presentation. So thank you all the participants for attending the webinar. So we will see in next week with some new topics. Thank you.